Uh, Good evening. It's Tuesday evening. Good evening to all out there. It's myself. To my right is Mr. Michael McEwen. How are we, Mike?
Hello. How are you, David? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you? How things?
Very well. I'm back with a vengeance after obviously my COVID scare, but no, I'm all fine. Ready to go. Apologies that we're starting a bit later tonight. I was a busy man back at work today, and the bottom of the screen, a free agent tonight is Graham Duffy. Graham, how are we?
I'm all good, mate. Looking forward to another action-packed show.
Fantastic. So, because we weren't on last night, let's review the weekend's action. I mean, first and foremost, Mike, a fantastic afternoon's work for Celtic beating Motherwell, but then utter monstrosity in Govan with Rangers beating Hearts 5-0.
Yeah, I know this. I know this sounds a bit weird saying this. Dave Celtic ran away from the game, and it could have been 8 or 9. But the man of the match, and I'm sorry to wind up any Murrow fans or Jenna, but I would say Murrow goalkeeper. Because if it wasn't for him, it could have been 8 or 9 easy on the game. And I think that was the first time that we saw Celtic performing for 90 minutes instead of 45 minutes. So that was very good to see as well. And for the game at Ibrox, obviously I'm going to try and keep Mr. Duffy on side the best I can here, but I don't think so. But I was very disappointed in Hearts. A professional job by Rangers at home, but Graham would be a bit disappointed with Hearts on Sunday, and it was one-way traffic from the word go, I thought.
Right, here's time for the Duffy rant. Where did it all go wrong at Ibrox on Sunday?
When we got off the bus and turned up. I just think, I don't know how often I say this, but Hearts start games so slowly, and it really frustrates me. I looked at that starting 11 and I thought, Ellis Sim should have been starting this game. Aaron McInnes hasn't started since the 26th of December. He didn't even start against Auchinleck Talbot, Motherwell, Hibs or Celtic, yet he's deemed good enough to play at Ibrox. Weird decision. I think you wondered how Rangers have responded after what happened against Celtic, and to be fair, they responded very well. They came on the front foot, but Hearts made it very easy for them. They were so passive. This was a game that I said before the game, this was a free hit. We had a 10-point gap over Motherwell. Motherwell were just beaten by Celtic. We had a really good chance to go Ibrox and really kind of make a statement and go, this is a free hit, just have a go. But yet again, negative tactics. And for me, what disappointed me most was after the second goal went in, our players just folded. For me, I can accept a poor performance. What I can't accept is players giving up. And that's what happened after the second goal. I think, to be fair, we've said this numerous times. Me and Michael have said this numerous times. Hearts tend to play well second half. I don't know why that is. I don't know what Robbie says before the games that they come out so poor in the first half. But second half, we have a couple of decent chances. We look like we might have a goal. But then the second goal goes in, and that's it. The players just think, oh, that's it, dumb. We're not going to get this with anything less than a 4 or 5, and they just give up. That, for me, is unacceptable. There needs to be a response tomorrow because, we've played Rangers, Celtic, Hibs and Aberdeen 11 games this season. We've only won one of the big games, and that was Celtic in the first game of the season. That's not good enough. There has to be a change in mentality against these kind of teams. I don't know where we go from here. We are third. Fantastic. I'm delighted with that. But in these bigger games, there has to be a change in mentality and attitude because that was unacceptable on Sunday. But I will say Rangers reacted very well. Ryan Kent looked like the Ryan Kent that I've seen for a while when he was at Liverpool and even at Rangers early on. But he won't have an easier game than that because Nathaniel Atkinson was dreadful at right back. He's still looking for his ticket to get back in. He was awful. Midfield, we didn't get anywhere near Kamara and the other guys in there. And I think, to be honest, Robbie was at the wind-up because at 4-0 up, it brings Halliday on. What was the point in that? What was he going to do? It's just the mentality's got to change in these big games. But well played to Rangers. They were the far better team and they reacted far better.
Hearts played a fleet in the back with Moore, Sibic and Kingsley. Do you think that's the right approach?
I don't think he had a lot. see when you're missing guys like John Souttar and Craig Halkett, your two main defenders, you're up against it. I thought Taylor Moore, I'm not a massive fan of him. He's very, very poor. I've seen Milk turn quicker, honestly. He's so slow. Toby Civic has done okay so far, but he needs a more experienced player alongside him. I don't know what else you could have done. I mean, I think the way that we started the game, again, was just so poor, just so passive. We start games far too slow, and it's happened numerous times this season. It really annoys me. But I think we need more protection from midfield. Benjamin Ingram and Cammy Devlin were, again, overrun. I think what he could have done was put Peter Haring in there and made that a three-man in midfield. But listen, Rob was a manager, not me. But I just think, again, not starting Ellis Sims for me was a poor decision, because my idea would have been to get Rangers turned, get that back line turned, and we had no pace. The minute Sims came on at half-time, we looked a lot more direct and more threatening. It's just the start of games again. It's just so frustrating, and it's happened far too often this season.
And brave. I will ask another question though, and it's a good point came in here by Elfin Priest. Wish Devlin could have equalised for us instead of that lob he tried. Could that have changed the game?
We might have only lost 5-1. I love that score, by the way. I think, Cammy Devlin is one of these guys I love watching, because he never stops. He's always around people, but I just think he's never going to score. He's had numerous chances for Hearts, and he just never looks like he's going to score. I can see what he's trying to do, and if that obviously goes in, then fantastic. It might well have made Rangers a bit nervous, but I mean, we had a couple other chances as well. It wasn't just Devlin's chance, but we've got to be. When you go to Ibrox, you don't get many chances. When you get them, you've got to take them. I think the biggest surprise to me that Cammy Devlin didn't get booked and Robbie Nielsen did. That was a shock. But again, Rangers, credit to them. They were very, very impressive. Morelos looked like the Morelos of old. And I just think Rangers looked far, far better than us. They looked sharper. They looked faster and fresher. They bring Anna Ramsey on. He doesn't really do a lot, but he didn't have to. But I think you have to give credit to Rangers because they did play well.
Yep. Do you think Dundee's the perfect game for Hearts to try and respond from?
I would like to think so. There needs to be a reaction. Like what Rangers did after the Celtic game, they reacted well against us. We have to come out and really go at Dundee. I'd be making a couple of changes. Ellis Sims, for me, is an absolute guaranteed starter. Peter Haring should come in, probably in place of Cammy Devlin. And we have to go at them for the start. We cannot afford to start sloppily tomorrow because the fans will be on the back straight away. The last time we played Dundee at home, we drew 1-1. We were very, very poor that day as well. You're looking at a big crowd at Tynecastle tomorrow. We have to come out fast and we have to come out and really have a go at Dundee. If we score early, we could maybe go and score 3 or 4. But the longer the game goes at like 0-0 or worst case scenario, Dundee score first, that crowd will turn and they really will turn. So we have to, I say this every time we're on here, we have to start the game quicker because we start far too slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. Question coming here from Nerd the Punk. It's the start time of the show. They're permanently a bit later than 6 p.m. lads. Nope, my fault. We start at 6:30 tonight because I was late working tonight, meaning I'm the culprit, and I've left Michael McEwen and Graham Duffy waiting. And I've left the big McEwen waiting. And time to pour McEwen's pint, Michael. And speaking about Celtic, what a fine performance of all.
Yeah, I mean, I got drink, David. I'm just being honest with you, mate. That's why I've got no pals. But no, I was a very professional, comfortable performance from Celtic. That was 2 games in a row that they scored 3 goals before half time. And to be honest, it could have been more. As I said early on, and I wasn't at the wind-up, the Murrow goalkeeper was like the man of the match. I know it's, and I'm not winging any Murrow fans up here, but he actually kept them in the game, even though the game was over at 4-0. But what I mean by that is, like, it could have been 7, 8, 9 goals whatsoever. He pulled off some great saves in the game. I thought that was the best game that I saw Giakoumakis playing. his whole gut play in the game reminds me a bit of Edward a wee bit on the game as well. And but yeah, I mean, every time I see that team playing again, playing every week, they'll just thrive in confidence as well. And but tomorrow night's going to be a big test going up to Aberdeen. But it's in Aberdeen, not a very good season. So yeah, it's going to be a very kind of interesting game. And am I right in saying, Dave, that the last game Celtic went up to Aberdeen was their first away win of the season?
Well, that'll be my next question. Actually, the fact that Celtic have been so consistent now, compared to that time in October when they beat Aberdeen 2-1 at Pittodrie, and just for clarification here, Mike, that 2-1 victory was the first time Celtic won away from home, beg your pardon, since February, right? What a difference in terms of consistency and results.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at that game. You could pick I always say to Graham about the Hearts game as well. You could always look back to that game and say what a turnaround Postecoglou has dig in the two windows, and obviously he's brought in what was it, 12 players in the summer, and he added that into the January window. So you could argue that Angie's brought in two sets of teams, if you know what I mean. But the kind of strength and depth is there now, because obviously Celtic didn't have a lot of good fortune when they were all coming, because they were all injured at the one time. It was like Skittles; they all kind of fell down at the one time. But he's actually got a kind of like Celtic squad now, and they could kick on now. But for ages at the beginning of the season, you're right, Dave. I mean, when Celtic went away from home, you were like, oh no, we're going to either get beat or got points this week. But you know, it's comfortable and all that, and everybody knows their job in the team. And even we've got Rambo in the midfield now. Oh no, sorry, that's Karen McGregor. Sorry, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's good. Celtic's kind of kicked on now, so hopefully they can continue that tomorrow night up at Aberdeen.
Yeah, when you look at the Celtic side now, sorry, for a Celtic fan, they've been going to games after lockdown and COVID and going, I'm not looking forward to this. It's a sticky assignment, this. Now you're going to away games and going, I'm excited. We're going to knock a few goals past the opposing team. We're going to have a few beers and we're going to have a good day out.
Yeah, I mean, you're adamant that I'm going to take a pint, are you, David? And stuff like that. A pint of Coke, maybe with the ice. But I know what you mean. I know this is weird, me saying this, but I was watching Joseph Janovic's press conference on Friday, and he smiled. And I've been watching Celtic. I've been going to press conference and it says now since last season, and not one player has kind of smiled or said, "Yeah, I'm enjoying my football here," or "I'm enjoying working with the manager here." None of that season was Mr. Lennon. But when Andrews came in, everybody's had a good bounce, had a smile on their face, and wee things like that makes a bit of a difference. And when you go to the game time, you actually, you're actually getting that psyche about the games as well, putting on a decent performance as well. As I said, hopefully we can play for 90 minutes from now till the end of the season, not 45 minutes. But yeah, it's just night and day. David Watson Celtic at the moment. It's good. It's good, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, right. So there's your clarification, viewers. Michael McEwen does not drink. So, Michael, when you had your Iron Brew on Saturday evening, you just been watching that just with intrigue of how things were evolving. I mean, there wasn't, some games featured no goals, but there was still an exciting afternoon of Cinch Premiership football at the weekend.
Yeah, I was watching it with my Coke, David. That's a free advert there for Coca-Cola. Other drinks are available if it was on the BBC. But yeah, I think the score of the day was up at Dens Park, 2-1, Ross County. But in saying that, I'm not surprised because Ross County is. They are a very surprising team, aren't they? Kind of like home and away. In Dundee, what can we say about Dundee? They're in desperate dire trouble at the bottom of the league, and every time we come on, we always say Dundee needs to start winning games, but they needed to start winning games about 5 weeks ago, basically. Another difficult game as I look at I'm going to call it the email derby tomorrow night at Tynecastle between Hearts and Dundee. I'm not going to start Graham on that one because I had him on the phone for about 5 hours the other night telling me about that email. But that's my jokes over for tonight. Maybe it wasn't a joke, Graham. I'm not very sure. But Dundee's in a desperate state of affairs at the moment, and they need to start picking up points after tomorrow night because I want to get a Christmas card from Graham this year. So yeah.
Graham, this is a game where there's still that vitriol about it because of what happened in May 2020.
You might even get a Valentine's card, Michael, let alone a Christmas card. That whole thing there has been that rivalry. I mean, let's be honest. When Hearts and Dundee met in the Championship in the first game of the season, and Hearts won 6-2. I mean, that was a brilliant result of performance, and that made me smile a lot because of the whole thing. I'm well over that now. Look, I've moved on from that. I've actually just checked my emails, and I've actually found that email in my junk folder, so it is there somewhere. But I think tomorrow is going to be a really big game for both teams. Dundee's form has been really, really poor, and it worries me now that they need a result. I just hope they don't come to Tynecastle and get one. If they win next week, then fine, just don't do it tomorrow. I think Robbie Nielsen, again, like a lot of Hearts folks, still harbours grudges about the whole Dundee thing. It wasn't just them, let's be honest. There was a lot of folk involved in this. But we're in a really good place just now. We're sitting third in the league. We're in the next round of the Scottish Cup. Things are looking good. I just hope that tomorrow, as I keep saying, Hearts come out really, really well, start this game well, get a couple of goals up, and then don't take the foot off the gas. But if Dundee come tomorrow, and imagine, Niall McGinn, I think it's a really good signing for them. He's got plenty of experience. He's got that bit of vision about him, and he can crack in a goal. He concerns me a little bit. Charlie Adam, again, for set pieces is a worry. But Hearts should have enough to beat them at home. But again, it's one of these games that if Hearts don't start well and don't take the game to Dundee will get some confidence from that. And I just hope that they don't get a win tomorrow because that really worries me now.
Now, there was a lot of social media clamour, Graham, on Sunday night regarding James McPake. Apparently, I say apparently here, there was a boardroom meeting on Sunday night regarding his position as manager at Dundee Football Club. Accusations were getting afloat regarding him sending racial abuse and all that kind of stuff. But, had something happened or clamourised as a result of this, I think he'd have been gone by it. So I think all the allegations have proven to be inaccurate. But if there has been anything, you just have to hope that doesn't surround onto the pitch tomorrow, Graham.
100%. I'm pretty sure, I don't know James McPake as a person, but I'm pretty sure that, if something has happened, then I'm pretty sure the owner would have said, right, enough's enough, you're out the door. But clearly, these accusations maybe are false, maybe there's been a mistake, I don't know. But if the players have got any doubt, their performance tomorrow will show that. Are they going to give their all for James McPake? We'll find out tomorrow when they start that game against Hearts. I think McPake is under massive pressure. When Dundee came up, did anyone really expect him to do well in this league? To be honest, I didn't. I didn't know if they'd be relegated, but I didn't think they would do that well. They have signed a lot of experienced players. I don't know if we'll talk about this later, obviously, but Lee Griffiths has got to Falkirk. Again, another player that James McPake couldn't turn his form around. I think they've lost Jason Cummings as well, away to I don't know if he's away to the J League or something.
Central Coast Mariners,
Central Coast Mariners. So, Dundee don't really score a lot of goals. Hopefully that continues tomorrow. But, it could just take one result. One result could turn the whole season around. As long as it's not tomorrow, then fine. But one result could be all that needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, you were alluding to Dundee's poor form there. If they do get the result tomorrow, it's a massive result. But also, as Graham right and truly touched upon there, if this whole racial abuse thing is inaccurate, fine. If there's enough stuff within this, we'll find out tomorrow night.
Yeah. Of course, it's going to be a big game for Hearts and Dundee for two different reasons that you would say. And just picking up on Graham's point there about Griffiths, and as I say, we might come back to speak about it later on. But one man who might feel a bit disappointed about Griffiths is James McPake, because I don't know if you remember the night that Dundee won the league, and the TV cameras panned to James McPake on the phone to Griffiths.
Yeah.
So and after that we found out they were best buddies basically, and but you wouldn't let your best buddy doing that to you, but it has.
Yeah. Graham, Ross County picked up a tremendous result the weekend, and they're one of those sides that have been competitive against the Old Firm. I think they've been refreshing against the big Glasgow too. They've gave it a go. They've not allowed Rangers any time in the ball. Same with Celtic when they went to Dingwall. They've took on these sides and gave them a right go, which needs to be applauded.
100%. And I'll be honest, when Malky Mackay got that job, I wasn't convinced he would do that well, but he has done very well. And I think if you'd said to anybody at the start of the season who would be the top scorer in the Cinch Premiership right now, nobody would have said a player for Ross County, but Regan Charles-Cook has been sensational this season. He's been in the form of his life, and I don't think he'll be there for long. I think in the summer he'll probably be away at a bigger club. But I think you've got to give credit to Malky Mackay. He's done a very, very good job. Ross County are a very good side, especially at home. They pick up a lot of good points at home. They're trying to play an expansive brand of football. Are they going to get caught out at times? Yes, but they do look a threat going forward. So I think Malky Mackay has to be applauded for the way he's trying to play. As I say, when he was first appointed, I thought that's not a great appointment, but you've got to give him credit for, sticking to his principles. He's played some really good football. And as I say, in Regan Charles-Cook, they've got one of the standout players in the Premier League just now, and I would have never have thought that at the start of the season.
I think the way Charles Cook plays is brilliant for this Ross County side. Forward thinking, tenacity, able to get in and about, expose defenders. He's a Malky Mackay type of player.
No, yes, definitely. I've been really impressed every time I've seen him this season. He's got something about him, He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's got a bit of physicality about him, and he's quick, and he's got that bit of creativity. It looks like he can do everything. He's been outstanding this season. And if you're a Ross County fan, you want to keep him for as long as you can. I think again, defensive midfield they've been decent, but it's just that spark up front with Regan Charles-Cook. If he can, I think Livingston tomorrow at home, I think Ross County will fancy that. Being at home in the Highlands, that's not an easy place to go, as a lot of teams have found out. That'll be a difficult game for Livingston, who've just come off the back of a good win against Aberdeen. I honestly think Ross County will win that, and I think Charles Cook is more than capable of scoring again tomorrow.
I think as well, Graham, that if Motherwell still had Charles Cook and Tony Watt, they would be up there at the moment as well. Scoring a lot of goals, because they scored a lot of goals for fun at the time at Motherwell. So yeah.
Donny Boy 67 coming in here asking if I was a Don. Indeed, I am. Big game for us tomorrow, but it is indeed for Celtic as well. We'll get on to that game in just a short while. But St Mirren, They're going along fairly nicely, Mike. Another win at Easter Road.
Yeah, another wee win, and St Mirren's one of these kind of teams that you don't know what you're going to get from week to week, aren't you? Like home or away, and it was proven on Saturday against Hibs. I thought St Mirren played quite well. I saw the highlights on Saturday night. But yeah, I mean that they're bubbling along kind of nicely as well. I mean, I'll go back to every time I speak about St Mirren, I always go back to the performance they put in against Celtic the other week at St Mirren Park, and also Rangers, even though they get beaten that game. But I thought St Mirren played well for 44, 43 minutes in that game, and the game kind of like turned on its head. I saw them last week against Aberdeen, and it was quite a dull game, to be honest with you, Dave. But it was a brilliant goal that they scored to get all 3 points against Aberdeen. And I know that people can say, well, Aberdeen, they were playing, they're not in a good running form. But as I always say, that it doesn't matter how brilliant or how poor the team is, you still got to beat them. And St Mirren done that on Saturday against Hibs. So, yeah.
Yeah. Graham, I know you're a jamble, but there was a really good point came in here earlier on about Maloney and the possibility of the fact that he maybe took the Hibs job on where it has been easier to say number 2 at Belgium because it's not went to plan so far for Maloney at Hibs.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Again, I think when he was appointed, it was a strange appointment. It was like I don't want to bring him into it, but it's like a bit of an Ian Cathro appointment. A really good coach, but maybe not a great manager. It's still very early in his career. He could still do all right. I don't think they actually played that badly against St Mirren. They had chances, but they couldn't take them. You got a guy like Kevin Nisbet, who at the moment is not firing. And St Mirren, listen, Conor Ronan, it's a really good finish. And St Mirren got the win. But I think, again, Maloney needs a win. He goes to Ibrox tomorrow, which is going to be interesting to see how he does there. But I think he's obviously trying to get a style of football in that team, and it's not easy to do that in such a short space of time. I think against Hearts for the first 20 minutes, they were fine. But after that, I think Hearts kind of really bossed the game, and they didn't have a lot of chances. I think it's trying to get that balance because he's not got a striker in form just now. Kevin Nisbet has been off form for a while. Christian Doidge, again, he does all right, but he's not a massive goal scorer. I've said this numerous times before on other shows and stuff. Without Martin Boyle, Hibs look a very average team. Now he's gone and they've not replaced him. I think Jake Doyle-Hayes is a good player. I think the boy Muller they signed looks decent, but they need to have more of a goal threat. I think it is very early in Maloney's career, but at the moment, as you say, it's not working just now. And I think a lot of Hibs fans will be feeling a bit disappointed that he's not kind of got the results that they're expecting. And I think tomorrow is a massive game for him. If he can go to Ibrox and get a result, then he might kick on from there. But if they end up suffering the same as Hearts did, a lot of Hibs fans will be on his back, I think.
So, can Shaun Maloney do Celtic a favour tomorrow?
Probably not. I think Rangers, as I said on Sunday, were very impressive. Ryan Kent looked the best I've seen him for a while. I think if Rangers, I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron Ramsey start for Rangers tomorrow. And I think, again, if you're Hibs going to Ibrox, you cannot afford to concede an early goal. If you concede early, it's going to be very difficult. So they have to go there and be compact and be tight. If they can nick a goal, great. But I just think if Rangers get an early goal, it could be a long night for Shaun Maloney and Hibs. But I've said again numerous times that I'm not a massive Ryan Porteous fan. I think he's vastly overrated. I know I'm going to get stick for that, but I've said this before. I'm not changing my mind. I think Morelos again looked good on Sunday. If Rangers get that early goal, it could be a massive, massive uphill battle for Hibs. But again, if they can keep it tight, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Good point coming in here from stage one. The doctor, Mike Maloney, is taking the short-term pain for the long-term gains, kind of like Glass and Ross before him. But I think Shaun Maloney needs to be vigilant that he doesn't become a Stephen Glass.
I think what they say in football is the honeymoon period is well and clearly over. because they did not have 2 wins or 3 wins when they came in back to back. I remember that.
Back to back, yeah.
Was that, sorry?
Yeah, they beat Aberdeen Dundee back to back, yeah.
Aye, and they went to Dundee, and that was before Christmas as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun game, as I say. But yeah, he's been struggling the last couple of weeks. I always talk about the cup game as well. They were lucky to get flukered in it for England or Scottish Cup because of a waffle that night as well. And I believe Martin Boyle played that night as well before. I think that was his last game before he went away. Am I right in saying that? Yeah. Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah, but he didn't look kind of interested to go up for the game. Maybe I got other things on his mind, but he was playing other games before that as well, and he wasn't interested in that. As for Nisbet, me and Graham was talking about this the other day, and I feel as though that Nisbet, one of these players that might need a goal, and he might actually kick on from there and score more kind of goals. But like on tomorrow night's game, everybody wrote Aberdeen off weeks ago when they went to Ibrox and got a point. So that might be in the back of the Hibs players' mind tomorrow night, but you can never tell as well. So yeah, it's going to be, but Hibs needs to start well, not like Hearts and Sunday where they just fell to bits. And just got worse actually, So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game. But remember, early on in the season, Hibs dominated the first 45 minutes until they got in fact, Porteous gets sent off that day. Surprise, Graham's favourite person in the world, and they were the better team then. So you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just briefly, Livingston beat Aberdeen 2-1 on Saturday, obviously, and it was a 0-0 draw between Johnston and Dundee United. I'll leave this pretty brief, Graham, but on Livingston, the fight form just continues. It's another poor defeat for Aberdeen, but for Livingston, great start through Oberlai, and then Forrest made it 2-0. Fantastic performance from Martindale's side.
Yeah, I mean, we always say this, that going to the Tony Macaroni on that pitch is not an easy place to go. There's very few teams managed to pick up easy wins there. It's a brilliant win. David Martindale, I think he does a really good job with very limited funds. He's a good manager. He's got Livingston probably, how Livingston are going to play. They're going to fight for everything. They're going to scrap for everything. It's a brilliant win. And again, they will hope to build on that. Aberdeen, their away form is dreadful. I think it's 2 wins all season. For a team as good and as big as Aberdeen, that's nowhere near good enough. I think Stephen Glass, again, maybe like Maloney, I think Stephen Glass is under massive pressure. Does he deserve to be? That might be harsh, but I think a team like Aberdeen should be doing a lot better than they are. I think they have obviously a massive game tomorrow, which we'll touch on. I wouldn't really expect Aberdeen to get in and out of that, but they need to put in a performance in. They need to show that they are going to fight for every ball. I just think Livingston at home, they are such a tough team to play against. So that's a really good win. And to be honest, with Aberdeen's away form, that wasn't a massive surprise that Livingston won that game.
Absolutely. Hello, Kieran. It is indeed me. Hello, I hope you're well. Right, Mike. So, before we preview tomorrow's game, we'll start by previewing tomorrow's games. Can Maloney do it? What I would say is he needs to play totally differently to what he's been playing already. It's not working so far. They're clearly missing Boyle, and defensively, all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, but it could work against him or it could work for him, if you know what I mean, because they might need this game, a big game at Ibrox, to shut the critics up a wee bit, if I can say that with my teeth in the right way up. So yeah, I mean they need to, first of all, they need to get off to a good start, maybe like the first aim for the first 20 minutes, and then keep in the game half an hour, like wee milestones and all that, and it's a bit like the Tynecastle crowd. I mean, if Rangers fans like turn on them tomorrow night, that Hibs are doing a kind of decent job, because that'll be a sell that game as well. But when the Edinburgh sides come to Glasgow, when the Glasgow sides go to Edinburgh, it's a big game, it's a high profile game. But yeah, as I said, Hibs and Shaun Maloney needs to start putting wins in and the performances as well, because the performances has not been there for a while. But tomorrow night will be a big test.
Yeah, Maloney said in his pre-match comments that I understand the dynamics as well, that if we don't win, they're not happy. We're working extremely hard to change parts of the performance into wins. That's the thing, Graham. Hibs are playing good football, but need to get the wins on the board.
They do. As I keep on saying, they've got a striker in Nisbet that's not in form, but they don't really have a lot else that they can do to change that. Whether they need to change their system, whether they need to change what they're trying to do, I don't know. But they have to start turning. The performances have been all right, but they have to start turning that into victories and have to start scoring goals. They knew they were going to lose Martin Boyle. They had to figure out a way of changing that. I think tomorrow, obviously, it's a massive, massive game. I don't really expect them to go there and win, but as Michael said, football's a funny old game. You never know what can happen.
Sorry, Graham. Go on.
That's right. But I think... Sorry, on you go.
No, I was just going to say, it's all right performing. I know what Dave's saying, putting good performances in, week out. That's brilliant. But the bottom line is get results. It's all right playing brilliant football from now until the end of the season and not pick any points up whatsoever. They need to start winning games. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a results-driven business at the end of the day. You have to get results. It doesn't matter how you perform. You could have 90% possession and 25 shots. If you don't score, you ain't going to win. But Hibs need to do something to find a way of scoring. I think against St Mirren, again, as I said, they had a few chances, but they couldn't score. And that's a massive, massive issue. So I don't know how Maloney goes around it tomorrow. But after that, they've got a very, very difficult Scottish Cup game away at Arbroath. That's not going to be easy either. So they've got two very difficult games coming up. I think tomorrow, if they can put in a performance and, if they come away with even a draw, that might be a billboard to work on. But if they end up getting hammered tomorrow, Maloney, maybe harshly, will be under massive, massive pressure.
Jim Goodwin came out in the press today, gents, and wasn't impressed by comments made by Maloney. Mike, he says, I've known Shaun Maloney a long time, and I'm certainly not going to get to a tug of war with words over any manager. But I have to say, I was slightly disappointed with those comments on Saturday, because I thought my players deserved a bit more respect than that, to be honest with you. And for a manager to be early in his tenure getting accused of disrespecting opponents, is it a good light?
I never saw Maloney's comments, but whatever that he did say after the game, he should be concentrating on another defeat by his team at home or away. It doesn't matter what he comes out and says. He should really keep that in house or keep it to himself or whatever, But yeah, that's going to upset more managers as well. Of Maloney's going to come out every week and slag of all the managers or different players in the team. That's not one way to meet pals, especially in the football business.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we'll go to Pittodrie, actually. Aberdeen against Celtic. Stephen Glass obviously speaking to the press today. Any suggestion over Robert Snodgrass joining was disputed immediately by Glass. But what I would say is he would be a good signer, Graham, but it's an aging Aberdeen side at present. I don't think Aberdeen need another aging midfielder on their side.
No, they don't. I mean, we all know the quality Robert Snodgrass has got, but would he improve the Aberdeen side? Probably not. again, this is a massive, massive game for Aberdeen. Again, I don't think anyone really expects Aberdeen to win that game, but it's performance. Can they give their fans a performance they can be proud of? That they leave that stadium and go, do you know what? That was all right. That was better. We're not seeing a lot of that from Aberdeen. Away from home, they've been absolutely awful. They have to get results at Pittodrie because that might be where they're going to get most of the wins from. But going up against a Celtic team that is absolutely flying right now, scoring goals, looking really creative, looking really confident, it's a massive, massive game. But again, like Maloney, if Aberdeen can get a result tomorrow, that could be a springboard. But I just don't see them getting anything out of this game. I think Celtic are far too good for a lot of teams in this league at the moment. They're far too creative, far too quick, far too incisive. They play at such a tempo that's difficult for anyone to handle. So I think Stephen Glass is a bit of hiding at nothing tomorrow, but it's a results business. He needs to get results. Tomorrow, I don't think is going to define Stephen Glass. But if he can find some way to get a performance out of that team, then the fans might just think, do you know what? That's fine. I'm happy with that. But they've got to start winning games again.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Mike. I think the opening 20-25 minutes will be key tomorrow. Start getting opening goal like they have in the last few games. It's damage limitation for Aberdeen tomorrow.
Yeah, Greg was saying earlier on about Shaun Maloney's lucky being in the job. Scaling grass he's got more lives than the cat. I know how we say they've got 9 lives, but I think Scaling Grass has got 12 lives at the moment. Listen, I don't know the ins and outs of Aberdeen, but I don't know if it's the team not performing for Skipping Glass, or if there's a division in the dressing room or whatever, or maybe Scott Brown's came in and some of the Aberdeen players don't like him or rate him. We just don't know, but the performances has not been great, and I'm sure when they saw after the game on Saturday, we've got Celtic at Aberdeen and Wednesday night. A lot of Aberdeen fans will be saying, "Oh no, just in the house then," But you never know. They can raise a game against the Glasgow too when they come to Pittodrie. As I say, they get a point at Ibrox early on in the season, but that's by the by and stuff, and they've never kicked on things. Then I would say maybe 1 or 2 results and stuff like that. They've not even had a decent performance, kind of like this season as well. But no, I mean, I think Aberdeen will have a hard job in the hands. Saying that, so will Celtic as well.
Yeah. Short staff just to the Scots. That's why we weren't on yesterday. That's why we're giving you a double whammy. We're giving you Saturday's reaction, and we're giving you a start to tomorrow night's football as well. A home game is something, Michael, that we have enjoyed recently, Stephen Glass says. So we need to look at the home form we're sitting on and try and take that into this game, regardless of who's coming. Aberdeen are a tough cut, not the cock at home. But you're up against a Celtic side that are ruthless right now.
Yeah, I don't think he should be saying that. Maybe he should be coming out and saying that after the game if they get a point or even a win against Celtic. But I don't think that will happen tomorrow night, a point at best, and building that for the rest of the season. Because don't forget, Dave, this is 13 games to go or something. It's like the business end of the season now where they may pick up points as well. I know why he's saying that, but I don't think he's come out and say that now, because it might come back to bite him after the game.
Yeah. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Graham wants Rangers to match the standards they set against Hearts. He says, I mentioned after the game, we showed the way we can play, and that is our standard. They will be without Ryan Jack, Rangers, but they showed a tactical nous about them, but also a character about them on Sunday as well, Graham.
Yes, they did. It was made very easy by the fact that Hearts were so passive and just never turned up in the second half after we lost the second goal. But there was a lot to like about the Rangers' performance. As I said earlier, Ryan Kent, probably the best I've seen him for a while. They looked sharper, they looked quicker. They just looked like a team that really wanted to react. I think had they maybe lost an early goal, that crowd might have turned a little bit, but that never happened. They got the goal after 11 minutes from Morelos, and they kind of never looked back after that. I think if you're a Rangers fan, you'd have been looking for a reaction from that Celtic game. They would have gone into that game, obviously, after Wednesday, and then after knowing that Celtic were 4 points clear, you're thinking, how are they going to react to that? Are they going to be nervous? Are they going to have that little bit of, vulnerability about them? But to be fair, they didn't. They came out really sharp. They came out looking like a team that was like, we're going to win this game. We're going to put you to the sword. And they did that. And I think tomorrow, if they do the same again, I think they'll be probably far too strong for Hibs. As I say, I think Aaron Ramsey will probably start. I think, Rangers had players on the bench, like guys like Sakala, who came on and made a difference. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game for Hibs tomorrow. I know it's still very early days, but I think this title race is going right to the wire. And it could be that goal difference is going to prove a massive difference. And I think Rangers at home tomorrow will be looking to put another 4 or 5 past Hibs. So it'll be interesting to see how Hibs react to that. But I would have to say, I think Rangers at home tomorrow, I think they will probably be comfortable tomorrow.
Yeah. Back to your old club, Hearts manager Robbie Neilson hopes to have John Souttar back in the side. What do you think about that?
A few weeks ago on this show, I wanted Souttar to go. Now, I'm glad he stayed. I think the games that he has played, he's been very calming. He's been very professional, like I expected him to be. And I think you take 2 main central defenders out, like John Souttar and Craig Halkett, you're really going to miss them. I think we need him back tomorrow. Him alongside Toby Sibic, I would feel a lot happier than having Taylor Moore in there. Again, I said earlier, this is a game that Hearts have got to win. When you've had a really poor result, an absolute hammering, you have to react. And I'm expecting Hearts to react positively tomorrow. If they don't, as I said earlier, if we come out really slow, really lethargic, and the longer the game goes 0-0, that crowd will turn. I've been there at Tynecastle when that crowd have turned, because I've been one of the guys that have turned on them. It's a massive, massive game tomorrow. We have to react to that hammering by Rangers. I do expect us to. I think Hearts will win this, but we have got to start the game far quicker.
Absolutely. Going at the other games now, Mike, Dundee United against Motherwell. Dan Coates has challenged Dundee United to rediscover their early season form. And they got off to a great start of the season. Remember, they beat Rangers 1-0 at Tannadice. And I don't know what opponents out of that. Got a lot of momentum as a result of that. And then they went in a bit of a barren run in December, which is ultimately weighed them back a little bit.
Dundee United reminds me of a wave machine, Dave. I don't know if that's going to make any sense to you, but what I mean is they keep coming and going back and coming and going back kind of thing. They go off to a good start against Rangers when Tom Tam, whatever he was called that day, and they go off to a good start. But ever since then, it's been kind of up and down, kind of thing, in the performances. But I mean, when I speak about Dundee United, I always refer people back to when they come to, especially go to Ibrox or Parkhead, they don't sit back, they have a go. And I like seeing that by the teams to come out and have a go. There's nothing worse than going to a game of football and teams are kind of like sitting in for 90 minutes, and then when they're getting beat 3-0, then they come out. What's the point of that? As for Motherwell, they would want to bounce back from Sunday's heavy defeat from Celtic as well. This could be a very interesting game, but because I'm giving it the big build-up, as Clay would know, it's going to end up 0-0.
Graham, Ellis Sims is determined to continue forging a strong bond with Hearts fans, but yeah, what a start he's made.
He's been brilliant, which is why I was really surprised and disappointed he didn't start at Ibrox. He's got that pace, he's got that physicality, he can turn defenders, he looks a threat in behind. Why he didn't start at Ibrox, I've got no idea. As I said before, Aaron McInnes hasn't started a game since Boxing Day, but he was deemed good enough to start at Ibrox. just bizarre. But Ellis Sims has been very, very impressive for me. I think he was starting to get a decent partnership with Liam Boyce. Hopefully that continues tomorrow. I think he's been to be fair to Hearts, the recruitment over the summer and in January has been far, far better than it's been for a number of years. And Ellis Sims is just another one of those. So if he can keep that up, and he scored a couple of weeks ago, and I hope he can continue that. He's been a real threat. Every time he's played is a real handful. And I like the fact that he never stops. He runs the channels, he runs all day and he doesn't stop, and I like that. So hopefully, if he can crack in a couple of goals, fantastic. But for me, he's been very, very impressive so far.
Yeah. Mike McGregor admitted Chris Boyd's comments about his facial injury did not look good, but the Celtic captain has accepted the former Rangers striker's as a clarification. First and foremost, Mike, what Boyd said was overset the mark. But also, it's good that McGregor's just wanted to put an end to this and concentrate on football matters.
That showed you how big a captain McGregor is if he doesn't want to speak about it. I did see that comment today in the segment. Me and Chris Boyd had his chat and that thing, and he was actually pushed again to give an answer. I think it was Ramin Bagdwag from SKB, and he was argument that it's bang, just now move on. A very childish comment that Boyd made as well. He's supposed to give an expert opinion on football as well, but very kind of not very professional, I would say, from Chris Boyd, but hey ho, what's new there as well. But no, McGregor was a bigger man and said, look, I don't want to be pushed on that. We've had a phone call or email, but what I did like about it was Chris Boyd made the attempt to speak to McGregor, so that was good. But no, Boyd should have a look at himself after that comment and say, I'm working for Sky here, I'm not working for Rangers TV.
But then, if he's making that comment to national television, i.e. Sky Sports, he's got to be held accountable.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time he's not come out with a comment like that against a kind of like Celtic player as well, and it won't be the last time that it'll come out. But yeah, I mean, it's easy for people to sit in the studio and say about, he should do this and use VAR in football, but he's never been a football manager, so he hasn't got that kind of insight as well. But yeah, I think he's a good watch what he's saying, and I think the Sky bosses should speak to him as well, because that's kind of out of order what he was saying as well. Because we're trying to keep football a beautiful game and stuff like that, and he's making weird comments like that. It's just to make headlines as well. But at the same time, it's like. Carry on with your job and don't say anything.
Scott Howe, thank you very much. I completely forgot about this because I was getting prepared for Emmerdale tonight. So apologies if you've not had an opportunity to watch Emmerdale, but let's go on to the point. And can I say, full card tomorrow, not any games been shown in Sky Sports. It's a joke. You've got Rangers Hibs, gentlemen.
Can I just say something?
Michael, where do you go?
Can I just say something, Dave? Yeah, that's a very good point that Scott makes.
The post is clear.
Yeah, that's a very good point that Scott made. I wasn't going to make it, but now that he's kind of put me up in my soapbox, and I know Graham's very passionate about this issue as well. The only reason that the Rangers and Hearts game was on Sky on Sunday was because of the FA Cup games. Full stop.
So that was primarily it?
Yeah, because the bottom line is, Dave, the Celtic game would have been on Sunday because that was an away game. Celtic Rangers was at Ibrox, and because I had no games to cover on Sky, they thought, we'll go to Ibrox. So that's why that game was on Sunday.
I know it's still. I know on that point. I know it's away from Ibrox, but I know it's Oliver Holt. Was it for Parkin Sunday? He's the Daily Mail or Sunday Mail journalist, and he's
Yeah.
he's like a journalist in England. He's on the Sunday supplement.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun how most people remember Scottish football when English football's not on, because like Brendan Rodgers was at Celtic Park the other week. He wasn't enjoying the game by the way. He was up to scout a particular player, and stuff like that. So yeah, but it's amazing how people remember Scottish football when the big football's not on, according to them.
Well, Brendan Rodgers isn't going to Celtic Park just now for no mean reason, and reports suggest he's having a look at Juranovic, Mike.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the less said about that, the better, I think. But I had a wee chuckle to myself when I saw that. Well, he wasn't up at Parkhead for the free hospitality and the pie, was he?
By the way, I'd just like to clarify once again to the viewers that Dens Park pie wasn't great, and I was in my bed Wednesday and Thursday as a result. But I'm back, and Graham Duffy will end the show me yourself. What's your Valentine's Day gift this year for Heart of Midlothian? Is it a result over Dundee, or have you got even bigger plans?
I hope my wife's not listening to this. I think it has to be. I think it has to be a win over Dundee. Listen, as long as we finish third this season, and I think we will. Touch wood, I think we will. As long as we finish third, I'll be really, really happy. And if we can beat Dundee in the email derby, as Michael rightly called it, I will be absolutely ecstatic. But there'll be certainly plenty of happiness in my household tomorrow if we can beat Dundee. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, away from here, I'll make this pretty brief. I can't understand how a player can go and attack a cat and start for his parent club. I can't understand it at all.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was raging about this. I've got cats myself, and the fact that why on earth his brother actually videoed that and then posted that, I have no idea. But I've listened to a few things today from a few different folk that have said, he deserves redemption. No, he doesn't. What on earth is he thinking about doing that? He actually slaps the cat out his child's hand. That is an absolute disgrace. West Ham should have sacked him on the spot for that. It's an absolute outrage. I mean, honestly, it really winds me up that, again, he's apologised because he's been caught, because of the abuse he's taken, because of the fact it was caught on camera, because his own daft brother took a video of it. He's only apologised because he got caught and he feels really stupid about it now. Who's to say he hasn't done this before? Nobody knows. It's an absolute disgrace that he starts for West Ham and that this will probably just get forgotten about. It shouldn't be. It's an absolute scandal.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, just to round things up, we will go over all the games tomorrow night. I thought I would just go and speak about what the gaffers have said today. Tomorrow night, we're back. We're here with a vengeance. Mike, you won't be on, will you? You're busy. You're going to be busy eating your cat food and then looking at what's with Todd, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And Graham Duffy will be busy hoping Hearts do the job over Dundee, and then he'll be having a steak pie to round things off. A better steak pie than I had last Tuesday at Dens Park, of course. But we're back tomorrow night, of course. We'll have updates, we'll have team news, we'll have the state of Scottish football. Open all mics tomorrow night. All the stuff you require. No presidents upon the big Glasgow 2. A presidents upon everything. But for now, thank you very much, guys. And we're back tomorrow night. Just to round things off, Graham Duffy, I'll give you the last word. I'll give you the penultimate last word, followed by yourself, Michael McEwen.
I am hoping for a Heart of Midlothian hammering of the email derby tomorrow. I am going for Heart of Midlothian 4, Dundee zip.
And Michael McEwen.
I'm just disappointed how you asked Graham about what he wanted for Valentine's Day. I thought
what do you want? So what do you want?
Yeah, I thought he wanted Hibs to win for a change. But yeah, that kind of upset me a wee bit. But no, tomorrow night I will go for a 3-0 away win for Celtic, and I will sit in the fence, and I will say it will be 1 each at Ibrox.
Well, I fancy Hearts to beat Dundee 3-0. I fancy Celtic to beat Aberdeen 3-0. I'm going to be brutally honest with you, gentlemen. And I fancy Hibs to get a draw at Ibrox. And that's all we've got time for. Back tomorrow night with more. Thank you very much.